I saw her on here and I got irritated because I'm like, oh, okay. So they're encouraging that behavior. You can't tell me they didn't see that. Nobody's gonna tell you this. So I'm here to tell you, if you're thinking of joining Scentsy, know what you're getting into. You have to have one recruit, but it's not about recruiting. I don't know how to say this without maybe getting backlash. Met yet, my name is Sam. I am an ex-MLMer. I was in 4 MLMs. Scentsy was my first one. I then joined their sister company, Velada, which is no longer in business. I then joined LuLaRoe and surprisingly, without my knowledge, joined Beachbody. More on all of those to come, but today I am going to take you on a deep dive of Scentsy because I don't think that I've seen one done by an ex-Scentsy consultant yet. And I figured, what better way to kick off my anti-MLM channel with a deep dive on the MLM that started it all for me. This is going to be a 2-parter though, because I'm gonna do a deep dive and then I'm gonna give you my whole Scentsy story, which is gonna be amazing and you're gonna love it. So make sure you hit subscribe and hit the bell to get notified when I post that second video. Let's do this. Heidi and Orville Thompson, they're listed as the founders of Scentsy, but they are not the founders. There were actually 2 women who were sister-in-laws. I don't know if they still are sister-in-laws, but their names were Colette and Kara, and living in Utah, they started the Scentsy business when it was a legit business. They were making scented wax and using warmers instead of lighting candles. They were making these on their own and selling them at fairs and home shows. In 2004, they were at a home show selling their products, and Orville, who had started and failed at many businesses prior, he was there selling video game controllers. And he ran into these women and he thought that their business was a great idea, which it was, I'm not gonna lie. So he purchased some of their products, brought them home to his wife, Heidi, who also loved the products, and they ended up buying the company. They, with their 5 children, continued on Scentsy and building the business in a shipping container, which still resides at the Scentsy warehouse today, and I believe that is in Idaho. Side note, if you go to the Scentsy warehouse and you take a tour, or if you're a superstar consultant or a director and you go for a training at the headquarters of Scentsy, you get a tour of the shipping container. If you ever want to tour a shipping container full of scented wax, head on over to Idaho. So anyway, where was I going with that story? If you don't know, the Thompsons are a family of faith, and their faith happens to be Mormon or Church of Latter-day Saints, which is a trend in the MLM world. Many founders and CEOs of MLM companies are of Mormon faith. If you're a Real Housewives fan and you watch Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Whitney's husband owns a multi-level marketing company. Anyway, so they are members of the Mormon Church, and they are currently on a 3-year mission trip with their church. So Orville's brother is who I believe is in charge of the company right now. His name is Chuck, and he is there running the company and keeping things going in consultant land, I guess. I don't know. I will say that I have met Heidi and Orville in person multiple times, and I can't say anything bad about them as people. They're very kind people. They are very attentive when you are talking to them. I have nothing bad to say about them as people. I just don't like the business model of Scentsy, which is an MLM. Having said all that, if you see me looking away, I have my computer here. It's been a few years since I've been in, so I had to do some research. I have my notes pulled up. Their products don't suck. That is what's so hard about MLMs, because some of the company's products, they don't suck, but they are marked up an astronomical amount because they themselves have to make a income on this business, this product, and then they have to pay out their consultants, and then they have to pay for the product. So that is why everything is so astronomical. For example, their wax bars are $6 a piece. $6. You can go on down to the Walmarts and get you one for half price. So if you are financially aware and you are trying to make the best financial decisions for you and your family, you're likely not going to spend $6 on a bar of wax when you can go on down to Target or Walmart and spend half that. Also, their warmers, they're small, like little tiny wall warmers. They're called mini warmers. Those are about $20 to $25, which is insane in my opinion. And the full-size warmers are about $60 each. I just can't bring myself to spend that kind of money on a warmer. Now, something I will also point out is that when I joined Scentsy, the scent would last for about a week or two, depending on the scent I was warming.
You don't burn them, you warm them.
So depending on the scent I was warming, it would last between a week to 2 weeks. That quality went away a little bit. These scents do not last nearly as long. It maybe lasted half a day. Even the strong scents, I would have to switch out way sooner than I used to have to switch them out. All that said, I will say about their compliance, when I was part of Scentsy when they launched their essential oils and their diffuser products, they made it very clear that it was completely against compliance to make any claims, any health claims, any kind of claims when you are selling the oils. I did appreciate that, and I thought that was good on them to make sure that that was very clear. Okay, so moving on from the products, we are gonna go into the party plan business model. I am going to share my screen with you. Okay, so if you go to the host the party page, it shows you that they now have a earn a kit. Now, this was never something that was a thing when I was in Scentsy, but it is a thing now. So apparently, if you host a party and you would like to apply your free product credit toward a kit, you can do that now. That actually makes sense because it was strongly pushed to flip your hostess. Before I go into that, I do want to point out one thing that I noticed on their website, and I will share a screenshot of that as well. There is a question in the FAQs all the way at the bottom of the host a party page, and it says, how much do I need to, quote, sell, with sell in quotes, to make it a qualifying party? And the way they word this is, your party needs to hit at least $200 before you begin earning host rewards. But you're not responsible for selling anything. Your consultant will make sure your guests have all the info they need to buy the products they want. You are encouraged to share the Scentsy love, or maybe recommend products you think your guests will enjoy, but that's all. So the reason they answered it this way is because we were never encouraged to say sell. Like, we never said we sell Scentsy. That's the reason they word it like that. It was never sell. We always share. So I wanted to point that out if you ever wondered why sell was in quotes. Okay, the next thing I want to point out on their webpage is the question of, is Scentsy a multi-level marketing company? That was never something that we were never encouraged to call it an MLM or a direct sales company. It was always,
Scentsy is a party planning company.
Yeah, okay, sure. The way they explain it is, Scentsy is a party plan company, which is characterized by a social event, typically in a home, in person or online, where independent consultants promote the product of their choosing within Scentsy's product lineup. The party plan model gives consultants the advantage of being able to help multiple customers experience the product at one time. Let's talk about the party plan business model, okay? Now, when you're doing your parties, there are 3 different kind of parties that you're encouraged to host. There are in-home parties, which still happen. I don't know about you guys, but my mom used to call them DEMs. So you have the in-home party, you have the quote-unquote basket party. That is when you lend out your testers and hope they come back, and also send some catalogs and order forms, and they bug their friends and collect orders that way. And then there are online Facebook parties. All three still happen. All three are very encouraged still within Scentsy. You are not booking a party to book a party. You are not booking a party to share Scentsy. That is not what's happening. You are booking a party to recruit that consultant, which makes sense now why they have the host exclusive starter kit. Like, that's the only way to do it, right? So you were encouraged to book the party. You were encouraged to then book more parties off of that party. But at the end of the original party, you would sit down with the host and you would tally up all of the orders and give them the amount they have in free product and the half off items, and then you flip it and you say,
you know, if you join, you can make all this in commission. And you still get all the host perks. Plus, you have a jump start because you can treat this like your launch party.
So you would flip the host and then go to the other parties that you booked off of that party and flip those hosts, and then everybody's selling Scentsy, and who's buying from these people now? Because everybody's selling to everybody. So it just made no sense. Like, it make it make sense. Like, why are we flipping everybody? Why can't people just purchase the product? Why do we have to push and push and push? I maybe did that with one person, and she was so annoyed with me. She started ignoring me, rightfully so. And she never joined. Now that we've talked all about the parties, let's talk about what happens when you do join. When I was doing all of my research and looking at the different pages, before I got to the join page, there is a video of multiple consultants who I believe are all at the top level, the superstar director consultants. There's a video at the bottom of Scentsy's homepage, and it's called "With Scentsy, I've Found My Freedom." I couldn't watch it all the way through, because I know all of the consultants. I know of them because they are Scentsy celebrities. As I'm watching, I see one of the consultants come up, and if you haven't watched this video, I'll link it above and in the description. Monica made a video on this, and I think somebody else did, and if I find that, I will also link that one. It could have been last year or the year before, but this consultant that was in this video, she went live on Facebook or Instagram, and she tore people up. It was basically geared towards the anti-MLM community and how if you fail, it's your fault, and MLMs, and
being broke is a choice.
Is literally the words that came out of her mouth. It's not a choice to be broke. It's not a choice. You don't make, like, I'm gonna be broke. I'm just gonna be broke. It's okay. I like to be broke. Who makes that choice? Like, who wants to struggle? Things happen. Like, it's not a choice that you make to be broke. So I saw her on here and I got irritated because I'm like, oh, okay. So they're encouraging that behavior. You can't tell me they didn't see that. Everybody reported it. I reported it. Anyway, all right. So you go to the join page, and currently there is actually a promotion going on. If you join Scentsy in March, you can join for just $25. But what they don't tell you is that you only get a small wall warmer. That's the price of the wall warmer. So that's their whole thing, is you can join Scentsy for the price of a mini warmer. So you get the mini warmer, and then you get one Scentsy bar. One. You get a sample laundry and all the other things that they have bundle. And this is where I get annoyed. Nobody's gonna tell you this. Nobody's gonna tell you this. So I'm here to tell you, if you're thinking of joining Scentsy, know what you're getting into, because this is what they're giving you for $25. You get the spring-summer 2022 fragrance tester sample pack, which that sounds amazing. Awesome. I get my sample pack. No, you get 25 testers, but they have way more scents than that. And they're tiny. Like, they're only this big, the mini testers. They're tiny. So I don't know how much it is, but when I was in, I want to say that the whole pack of testers was $75. Because now you got to spend $100 total, because you have the $25 to get this bullshit kit, in my opinion. And then you have to spend the $75 if you want people to. I'm not buying a scent that I've never smelled before. I'm going to Bath & Body. I'm going to sniff everything they have and buy what I like. I'm not going to burn a smelling candle in my house. Like, no. What if I get it and it sucks? I send it back and wait for a new one or wait for my refund because it's got to go UPS and who knows when it's going to get there? No. So you do want to have the full tester set so people know what they're getting. You get spring, summer catalogs. You get 1 pack of 5. How generous. Now, it doesn't look like it comes with any order forms, which, I mean, you can go to a website and you can order things. You don't need catalogs and order forms, but when you're out and they're pushing things, like if you do have a party, they're so big on parties. So chances are you're going to be pushing parties. And if you don't have the catalog for people to look through, you're spending more money buying that. So what is it going to cost you in the end? Which I will tell you how much money I made or didn't make in my part 2 video. That is coming up. So it's all just a marketing ploy. Consultants are the customers. Let me just say that. We all say it in the anti-MLM community. You are purchasing these things. You are the customer. Going back to the join page on Scentsy's website, they have a collection of videos of consultants that are telling their Scentsy stories. So Scentsy does not push your why. It's your Scentsy story. And it's got to be this whole reason why you joined Scentsy and what has your life turned into because of Scentsy. Like, that's your Scentsy story. So they are all telling their Scentsy stories, quote unquote. Scentsy is oftentimes it's referred to as the safe MLM because of the atmosphere, the community feel. Scentsy sisters, we'll go over all of that in part 2. Watching these videos after being in, like when I was in Scentsy, if I watched these videos and I was still in, I would have fell for it. I would have fallen into the sales pitch because they are emotional stories. But watching them from the outside now, there's a whole agenda behind it. And I just hate that. I hate it. So the first consultant that comes on and gives her story, she talks about how she was pregnant and she was put on bed rest. She then lost her son at 17 weeks. And that is devastating. Like, I can't imagine how devastating that is. She continues telling her story about how she's a military wife, which is a classic target audience for MLMs to go after because they're lonely, they're home alone, they can't really get a job if they're moving a lot. So great target audience, right? They can recruit them. So she's a military wife. They found out her husband had brain cancer. And because of Scentsy and the flexibility of her hours, she was able to go to the hospital and be with him, which is great that she was able to be there with him. I'm not saying anything bad about that, but the fact that they're using this story on the page to join Scentsy makes me want to throw up. That is so devastating. There's 4 consultants, or there's 5. I didn't watch the 5th one because I knew who she was and I didn't want to hear it. They each have a different story and they're each playing on a different like pain point for the people that they want to recruit that they know are in a vulnerable state. So this next one was a stay-at-home mom who was homeschooling her children and they were not doing okay financially. So she wanted to find a way to stay at home and keep homeschooling her children. I do have to say props to her because I tried to homeschool last year and my 10-year-old, it didn't go well. He's back in school now. Props to her for that. But she told her whole story about how she didn't want to go back to work because she wanted to stay home with her family and continue to homeschool. And then the 3rd one, she comes on and she's talking about how her husband was so miserable at his job and it was taking a toll on him and he wanted to quit and he was able to because of her Scentsy business. And then the last one, this one really got me. Let me preface this with I deal with depression, so I hate that they use this as a recruiting tactic for their videos to join Scentsy. This individual was telling her story about how she struggles with depression and how joining Scentsy gave her a reason to smile every day. What happens if this business goes away? We saw it with Jamberry, we saw it with Boo. We've seen it with other MLMs where they just have to close down business. And what happens if that happens to her? Not to mention, that she's only been in for 2 years and she's doing really well. I know who she is. She's at like the top. And the reason for that is because she was on a reality TV show in Canada. So she had a following already. And taking that and putting those together, you're going to be successful. But I just really didn't like how they use the mental health, the mental illness thing to kind of get in there. That's not okay. Not okay in any way, shape, or form. So anyway, my point here is to say they took 5 individuals with completely different stories, but all with a story that would hit somebody in the right spot to join. Like these people, these military wives, these wives with husbands who are ill, wives who have kids and want to stay home with them, women with depression or mental illnesses. They're all gonna see that and be like, oh, they're like me. I can do this. And then dig themselves a hole, essentially. It's so oversaturated right now. Joining Scentsy it's not gonna work. I wanted to address this FAQ that was on the page. It said, what makes Scentsy so special? Their answer is the Scentsy family has this indefinable quality. We call it Scentsy spirit, because how else could we express the passion, encouragement, enthusiasm, and drive of more than 250,000 unique souls coming together to serve a greater purpose? So this is where they emphasize the family aspect and the community aspect. And it's very much like that when you're in, but as soon as you leave, nobody remembers your name. So now we're gonna go over the compensation plan. And they also have an income disclosure statement that I want to go over. We will start with that. Many MLMs do not update their income disclosure statements because it's not a requirement. So this one is from the year of 2020.
2020.
So in their income disclosure statement, there are 2 groups. The first group consists of consultants who were with Scentsy for all 12 months of 2020. And group 2 consists of consultants who were with Scentsy for less than 12 months in 2020. You always want to look at the median because that is the middle average of what all consultants, and like they just mentioned, over 250,000 consultants, the median annual commissions, that's yearly, is $869 for the group that was in for the whole year. $869. Now in group 2, the median was $203. I just don't get it. Like, how does anybody think that joining a company where the median annual income is less than $1,000, less than $1,000 a year? Let's go over the compensation plan. First, let's look at the left-hand side. You have your PRV, your GWV, your TWV, and then you have your active consultants and so on and so forth. All of your bonuses are in the monthly rewards, and your commission is the top, the commission from PRV. So this is what you get every month for the sales that you make. As an essential consultant, you will make 20%. Once you are a certified consultant, you never drop below a certified consultant. And all that takes is selling $1,000. You get a 5% increase for your pay. That is the first level. So you make 25% off of your PRV, which is your retail volume. Now, if we go over to lead consultant, personal retail volume to get all of your commissions and your bonuses is $500 from here up. You have to sell $500 worth of product to get anything, any of your bonuses other than your regular 25% commission. So if you say you're a lead consultant, you have to have 1 recruit. But it's not about recruiting. It's not about recruiting. And they have to be active, which means they have to sell a certain amount. I don't remember what that is. I think maybe it's $300 a month. It was $150 at one point. I don't remember. So they have to sell that minimum amount to be considered active. And if you sell $500 or more, you then get a 2% commission from what they sold, plus a 2% commission of your retail volume. It's all very, 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 very confusing. So as you can see, we won't go through each of these, but as you can see, the pyramid structure is just on an angle. At the point of being at the top, you have to have 3 active consultants and 4 first-generation directors. Now, when they say first-generation director, what that means is it is your direct downline that has promoted to director or above. Chances of that happening with the saturation of Scentsy consultants are very, very slim. That's gonna wrap up the deep dive. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. Make sure you hit subscribe and hit the bell so that you get notified when I drop part 2, which is going to be my full show of a Scentsy story. You won't want to miss that. And I have a whole bunch more content planned, including deep dives of companies that I have not been in, stories from companies that I have been in, and horror stories. So stay tuned. I am so excited to be here, and I will talk to you guys later.